Toshiba Computers Rally is the final round of a long championship road, which has now resolved itself down to a straight fight between two crews and two cars. First, there's the Metro 6R4 of reigning champions Denis Biggerstaff and Guy Carlisle. They're being challenged by the Toyota Celica GT of Robin Phillips and co-driver Michael Gibson, runners-up for the past 2 years. Will the champions reign supreme again, or will it be third time lucky for Phillips and Gibson? The County Hall in Ballymena is the gathering point for this Mid-Antrim Club round, but the men protagonists are giving little away.
I can win the championship by finishing third point scorer and beating Denis Biggerstaff.
And is it worth it today just to go flat out and try and get into a fight with Denis, or are you going to watch the point system or see what happens?
Oh no, we're just going to go as fast as we can and enjoy ourselves.
Well, you're the next man, Denis. Are you going to go flat out?
Well, part of it will go flat out anyhow, but I'm just listening to Robin here. He's keeping his cards close to the chest, so we'll see what he does and then we'll follow suit from him.
But hot favourite Derek McGarrity has had a trying week.
Unfortunately, everything sort of went against us a bit this week. We tested this car a few days ago. The suspension wasn't right, and due to that fact, we had a minor off in the car, which meant we actually pulled out of the rally yesterday. But then the guys worked all night to get the car here, so I've no recce done for this rally. I haven't seen these stages in 3 years going this direction, so I don't know.
Wexford's Eamon Boland has seen very few Forestry stages in his Subaru.
This will be our fifth gravel rally altogether. But you know what? They're easier than tarmac rallies really, because there's no recce involved. You just come up and get the notes and away you go.
And the driving style, is it much different for you?
Yeah, we didn't master that yet. That's what we're trying to do.
While Suzanne Woodside is trying to master the new world of rallying in a prize drive Puma.
Well, we've had a bit of training in pace notes, but obviously when you go out on the stage it's going to be slightly different to try and concentrate. Today's the ideal opportunity to get used to that. I've got a great experience sitting beside me with Terry Harriman, so I mean that's excellent to tap into.
Leading the field away from the start ramp is the first World Rally car to appear in the championship, the high-tech Subaru of Eamon Boland, all the way up from Wexford. The Glens of Antrim, where the rally action takes place, is new territory to Boland and co-driver Alan Cook. But the championship has been here many times before. The hardy fans know what to expect. Boland's Subaru is first on the road, but for the tarmac specialist, this outing is all about gaining experience on gravel ahead of the RAC rally. Derek McGarrity, on the other hand, is most people's favourite for outright victory, even if he is in yet another different Subaru Impreza. But the Glengormley driver's hopes have taken a blow even before the start, with a 20-second penalty for signing on late. He's fighting an uphill battle. Biggerstaff, however, is quickly into his stride. He knows he has to finish at least one place ahead of Phillips, and makes a good start by setting joint fastest time on the first stage. Phillips hasn't performed as well as he can on the past few rounds. He's appeared to struggle to keep the Toyota under control in the slippery forests. And he's still having to wrestle with the car. But he's on the pace, and just a couple of seconds behind Biggerstaff. But Trevor Moore is on his way out after just one stage.
We broke a front drive shaft in the start line of the first stage. We just took the centre diff out at the end. We just got to the end of the first stage. That was it. Rally over.
No chance of going any further?
No, that's it. The centre diff's in the gearbox, so that's it for this year.
And for someone less determined than former champion John McKeown, this jarring moment might also have signalled the end of the road. As we see it again, the Sierra drifts wide on the exit of the corner and collides with a steel barrier. The impact spins the car through 360 degrees and rips the driver's door clean out of the car. The escort of former winner Richard Hall speeds through. While John McKeown and co-driver wife Mandy set off gingerly in the Sierra with its new air conditioning system. while others are left to take home a battered and bent souvenir. Meanwhile, McEwen is back up to speed and wondering where he can find a spare Sierra door in the Glens of Antrim. Up at the front of the field, former All-Ireland champion Kevin O'Kane is right on the pace in his Subaru. And Richard Hogg is hogging a few quick times too. But this doesn't look or even sound like an Escort Cosworth. No, indeed. Hogg and co-driver Mark Hanna have replaced the Escort, which carried them to second place on the recent Dogleap Rally, with the Mitsubishi Lancer.
Now let's stay on board the mascot Mitsubishi for the rest of the slippery Nigel McGee Auto Body Repairs Parkmore test.
60, and long 5 left, over slippy, 80 tarmac, and don't cut, open 5 left, and 5 left again, 3 posts, and long open 5 right in, 5 left, 5 right in, 5 left 40, bump, open 5 left 40, stay left over jump 40, and slippy long 5 right, 60, slippy long 5 right, 60, and square left, and then the 60 Richard, 40, 2 right over bump, 40, 5 right opens over crest and jump, up the middle 130, and the top of it Richard, you have double caution, 2 right over crest and bump, tightens in, open 5 right over crest, then open 5 right over crest, 3 left 60, square left in, and 3 right, up the middle 80, caution 5 right, square left and square left after the 5 right, up the middle 100, square left again, up the middle 100, big crest and jump, go 130, follow it by double caution jumps in the crest and jump and long 5 left tightens and hairpin right, long 5 left tightens and hairpin right, 40, and finish open 5 left, 80, and stop the gates. It's good, isn't it?
He's leading the production category as he climbs into the top of the cloud-covered Slevenora mountain.
Stay middle for big crest, jump 1 left 3 posts, 40 downhill, stay left, long square right, long square right, and small crest 40, bump, hairpin left.
Pushing on hard too is Morris Gass in his ex-works Toyota Celica GT4, although such is the pace of the rally, he's only in the fringes of the top 10. Is also struggling, mostly for grip on the greasy surfaces. In contrast to Glass's Toyota, Alan only has rear-wheel drive in his Mark II Escort. But he does have Eugene Donnelly on board.
And the 2 right, 200.
Donnelly is one of the most talented rally drivers on Ireland's tarmac roads in his G3 Escort, but when it comes to the forest, he swaps seats to call the pace notes for his pal Glenn.
Right, that works for you, 80. It works, 80. Open 5 right. Repeat, open 5 right. 60.
It's a combination which clearly works, for not only are they in the top 6 of the championship overall, but they're going for their 8th straight class victory.
2 left over crest, and it works for you. 100. Go on. 2 left again. 40. 3 left. 100. Flat 2 right. 100. Opens 5 right.
Their big rivals in the two-wheel drive category, as always, are Keith White and David Linus in their Cosworth look-alike. But today they're several places in front and well into the top 10. But who's winning the rally? Boland, McGarrity, Biggerstaff, Phillips? None of them. The leader is Robert Woodside Jnr. He's taken over Kenny McKinstry's British Championship winning Subaru for the day. With Dean Beckett on the notes, Jr is out in front and pulling away from the field. Meanwhile, the sparks are really flying in the battle for Group N, the production category in the championship. Raymond Mason is the narrow leader on points and on the time card. But he's under severe pressure from the similar Subaru of Raymond Johnson. The winner on the final day will almost certainly take the title.
Jim Crozier, who is third in the Group N championship race, still has an outside chance.
Jim Crozier is also in the hunt. The scars in his Proton show how hard he's been trying to keep up. Others are faring even worse. Jimmy Logan, for instance, his Escort grinds to a halt and spectators move in to ease it out of the way to let Alistair Cochrane past. All seems well with Mark Barnett here, but his Escort will soon join the growing list of retirements. In trouble too, Jonathan Morrow's Peugeot, which coasts slowly through the Parkmore stage. Back in service, damaged steering is diagnosed. There's no better way to get at the offending area than simply tip the car on its side. Well, you better mind the paintwork. But it'll take more than a lick of paint to repair Owen Mackerlane's Escort. The driver can only reflect on the consequences of headbutting a tree. As Martin Carey's Peugeot gets a helping hand, the battered Escort is tucked safely away to await rescue. Woodside, however, still leads.
Belfast garage owner Gary White, with Barry Taggart on the pace notes, is looking for a finish, although steam rising from the bonnet on the Nigel McGee Autobody stage caused a few anxious moments. Similarly mounted is John Donnelly in the JMD Construction Escort. The Ballymena driver will not repeat his podium place in the Dog League Rally as he falls foul on the Carryduff forklift Slevenora jumps. Jerry Brown also utilises Cosworth power as he leaps his way further up the leaderboard. While Cork visitors John McCarthy and Dan McGuire get their WRC Escort very sideways. Alistair Cochrane and Ian Kidd are drifting their way towards the top of the Class 6 honours. Whilst the rapid Glenarm driver Andy McGee is beginning to experience difficulties with a new sequential gearbox fitted just before the event in a Mark II Escort. Rodney White and Richard Bell have clinched the Class 5 championship in their ex-Andy Dawson Sunbeam, but they end their season prematurely, stuck in a ditch in Parkmore. Conor McFall is setting some solid times in the straight concrete Escort Cosworth as he really chucks it through the Carryduff forklift's Slevenora stage. Shell Helix Mark II Escort has been driven by Ian Getty, with Rhonda Graham shouting out the pace notes. Frank Kelly hopes not to repeat his spectacular exit from last year's event in his unique 2-litre Z-Tech front-wheel drive Fiesta. But as we can see, things are not going exactly according to plan. Roy Hazlitt pilots his Vauxhall engine Gartrek G3 Escort through the opening test, sideways as ever. But he's giving best to Alistair Cochrane's similar Escort. And George Pirrie's going for broke in his Group N Lancer. This year's junior champion, Stephen Moore, will be aiming to keep the spotlights on the front of his Escort, while Paul Macaulay in the PMA Contract Sierra is having a good start, but will run into problems later on in the form of a gate post. Fred Cameron and Dale McNeil are also early retirements. Former championship sponsor Fintan McGrady is heading towards the top 20 in McGrady Insurance Escort. As multiple class champion and Toshiba Rally regular, Sammy Wilson demonstrates his unique rear-wheel drive Clio. After Frank Kelly's problems, the pressure is off the luminous Astra of Andy Hawthorne, who is fighting for the Class 6 championship. English visitor Ian Peake has Graham McKee on the notes, but the Moss Tiles Escort will retire on stage 5, the second run through Parkmore. Toshiba's Alan Thompson is using the event to gather experience before the Rally of Great Britain. An evolution further on, and Mark Woodside and Michael Toho are piloting their Lancer Evo 5 to a top 5 place in Group N. Mark is Suzanne's brother and rally leader Robert Woodside's cousin. The barking exhaust notes signifies the arrival of Paul Crossan's Peugeot 106 Cup car. The former Micro Challenge winner, with Peter Martin on the notes, is holding a commanding lead in Class 4. Cookstown's Keith McIver, going quickly here, puts on a gritty early performance. The KDM Hire Astra will not see the finish ramp. Nor will George Hamilton's Downtown Motors Mark II Escort. Willie Hunter's had a 15-year sabbatical from the driving seat, and he also has his 17-year-old son, Kingsley, reading the pace notes for the first time. And Willie is dicing with Mark Leatham's spluttering Escort Cosworth. Sounding much healthier is Mervyn Williamson's Mark II Escort. But for Gordon Simpson and David Vance, the battle is on with Marshall Kennedy's 205 to decide the Class 1 championship. But the race ends prematurely when Gordon's 306 drops a cylinder. Running just behind is Ali Burrow's unusual rear-wheel drive Orion. A very sideways Sean McGarr in the Martini-livered Mark III Escort is battling for the Class 5 lead. And Charlie Hamilton has his wife Michelle along with him to keep him on the straight and narrow. But nearly off the straight and narrow is Andrew Mulholland's Avenger. Andrew has an outside chance of winning the 2000 Sunbeam Avenger Challenge, but loses 5 minutes stuck on top of a bridge. Marshall Kennedy and David McElroy are on their way to becoming Class 1 champions, but they will retire in this event with suspension damage. Cut across shorties are the Jennings brothers from Kesh, who are trying to gain every single inch in their attempt for Class 1 honours. It's only their third outing in their home-built car. Taking the more conventional line is Lexi Halliday in the JC Halliday Saxo, but the little Citroen will wander off the road on the second run through the Carryduff Forklift Slevenora stage. Andrew Bush is flying in the Galway Metals Purple People Eater, a strong contender for Class 1. Chris Heaney's Mora Fireplaces Corolla appears to be going well on stage 1. But on the next test he's been caught by Derek Crosson's Avenger. Derek, with Stuart McLean on the notes, is on his way to winning the Sunbeam Avenger Challenge section of the rally. Raymond Rogers in the fibre optic Corolla is on his way out of the event, retiring on stage 2. But Brian Crawford from Anna Hilt in his G4 Escort is battling for the Class 5 positions. Battling for the lead in Class 5 are McQuaid and Carson in their Mark II Escort. And going well here is Enniskillen driver Paul Flanagan, but he will shortly join the growing list of retirements. Heading for a good finish is Anthony McQuillan's MCN Electrical Nova, running second in Class 4 at the moment. Whilst the father and son team, Valon and Stephen McNeely, are on their last event as Alan is about to hang up his helmet. In contrast, John Murphy and Neil Finlay are out for the first time in their newly acquired Sierra Cosworth. Harry McAllister and Alex Ewart are on their way to winning the 2000 Sunbeam Avenger Challenge. That's the championship. But Martin Cairn in his Escort Cosworth and Sean McBride, seen here with a slipping clutch, will take nothing home today, I'm afraid. Whereas William O'Kane will make it through to the end, but in 57th overall. Husband and wife team, Stephen and Anne Kelly, grapple with their Peugeot. And Kenny Gass tries to tame his powerful rear-wheel drive Cosworth. Those Toshiba perennials, Ian Duff and Ian Holler, out again in their Nova and heading towards third in Class 3. And this young fan is taking notice of Declan McNaughton's 1300cc Sunbeam. The young Waterford driver is on his way to winning Class 3. The old Montgomery's Lancia Delta is a rare sight on the stages these days. And Lucy Ford Hutchinson has been the only lady driver contesting the Northern Ireland Rally Championship this year, in the Alan Dorman and Son Micra. Very sideways McFerrin chucks his 2-litre Escort towards 45th overall. The O'Kane Brothers sponsored car is spectacular to watch. While finishing just one place ahead of McFerrin is Gary Tucker with Graham Morrow on the pace notes. Jim Aiken is going blindingly fast at time to finish second in Class 3. As Jim McSherry slides the AM air conditioning Sunbeam, sadly he will slide it out of the event with a misfire. Cleary and the H&A Escort will also not make it to the finish, but O'Neill does get through, albeit in 59th position. Here's that other Toshiba regular, the Fiat Mia Fiore, been driven by Gabriel Delaghi, but been caught by Campbell's Mark II Escort. Graham Wilson's red Escort Mark II is followed closely by David Crosson's red Avenger, running well up until the stub axle breaks on the very last stage. Brett Martin Ballyboli test. Rally preparation expert Ian Miller has hired Philip Hunter's 1600 Escort, but he will shortly join the long list of retirements. And Kerry Datsan and Toher has an eventful day to finish in 60th place. As McLaughlin's Escort surprises these spectators, there's a big surprise at the front of the field.
13 seconds of lead after 3 stages. Does that surprise you?
I'm very surprised, yeah, that we've got a new co-driver in the car. I've done no gravel miles in the car, and I haven't been in the forest since May, so we're happy enough.
And in the championship battle, Phillips has bounced past Biggerstaff. It's been a good clean fight so far, but Denis admits he hasn't really been on the ball.
We ourselves started off in the first stage very well, but we just got a lot of tension in the second stage and carried through to the third one. You know, we didn't just really get it well, so we'll have to improve from there.
Is no problems with the car this morning?
No problems with the car. It's just up to us now to pick up the pace and take the champions back up.
Suzanne Woodside is beginning to purr in the Puma.
At the end of the first stage I felt as if I was getting into it, and then the second stage is Slevenora, which is very daunting. It's all straights, big jumps and crests, and I did take it easier because, you know, the main thing for me at this rally is to get to know the car, and to do that gradually. There's no point in going flat out and going off, so I'm trying to be half sensible with Terry keeping me under control.
It's a cold and wet Toshiba Rally, but the spectators have only the action to keep themselves warm.
The action starts again in the Parkmore, Slevenora, Dixon Contracts and KBB Doors stages. Suzanne Woodside is co-driven by the very experienced Terry Harriman as they sweep the stages and gain valuable experience for their prize drive next year in the Puma. Things are a little less successful for Willie McKee as he toots his way through the Brett Martin Cabinet stage. And on to the final stage at Ballyboli. Willie is urged on by his son Graham, but this obviously distracts him as he plants the green sunbeam into the greenery on the very last corner of the very last stage. Ivan and Barry Kennedy, father and son, in their surprising Skoda, which utilises a 16-valve engine and would embarrass many more contemporary machines. It also has the honour of being one of the few Skodas to run at the front of the field in a championship rally.
At the front, Robert Woodside Jnr. is continuing his hot pace, steadily increasing his lead in impressive fashion. Only a few weeks ago, he was wrapping up the Northern Ireland Sprint Championship in a single-seater Pilbeam, a car so different from this four-wheel drive turbocharged Subaru as to be from another planet. But this versatile young driver from Ballyclare can clearly master both as he continues to set fastest stage times. He's a member of one of Ulster's foremost motorsport families. Two of his cousins are also in action in this rally. McGarrity has a lot of ground to make up. Those early penalties are proving costly, but even without them, he still wouldn't be in front of Woodside. Such is the pace of the rally leader. And McGarrity's cause isn't being helped by fluctuating fuel pressure, which is causing the revs to fade at times. His first target, however, has to be O'Kane, who continues to hold on to second place. The former All-Ireland champion from Omagh has raised his game considerably in the past few rounds of the championship, finishing second and beating McGarrity on the Bushwhacker Rally. He and co-driver Stephen Griffith aren't closing the gap on Woodside, but they are trading times with McGarrity and holding him at bay. Heading into the second service, they're 30 seconds behind Woodside, but still 9 in front of McGarrity. Phillips' slender advantage over Biggerstaff is rapidly receding. The championship tables have been turned once again. The Toyota is down from 4th to 5th and is trailing the Metro by 2 seconds now. Biggerstaff got back into gear on the rerun of Parkmore, where he was 6 seconds quicker than Phillips. The Metro loves the tight and twisty stuff, and the champion is refusing to give up his title without a fight. But things aren't going quite so well for Hogg and his new steed.
And turn square right, don't cut 40. And very double caution, very tight.
The Lancer is losing turbo pressure, and the loss of power is sending Hogg sliding down the leaderboard.
Up the middle, 150. Stay left, into long open 5 right. Long open 5 right, 2 left, 100. 100. Caution crest and bump into square left, 40. Caution bridge, 5 right, 5 left. Up the middle, 80.
He's been overtaken by the rear-wheel drive Escort of Keith White, even though it's finding grip, an elusive commodity in the increasingly wet conditions. And White's also worried by the engine occasionally dropping off a cylinder. Nevertheless, he's 8th, and the Escort is leading the two-wheel drive cars. Richard Hall is also climbing the leaderboard. A sleepy start had seen the former Toshiba winner outside the top 10, but now he's on the pace and up to 6th. But he almost pushes too hard through this tricky section, and he's lucky to get away without damaging a wheel.
The Ballyclare driver is pleased just to have got this far, as previous mechanical dramas have dogged the motorcare Escort.
Eamon Boland, still trying to get accustomed to left-hand drive, is struggling in the unfamiliar surroundings, dropping back to 9th, but he continues to keep the expensive Subaru out of the ditches.
Eamon has the experienced Welsh co-driver Alan Cook aboard the NVD Subaru, and he is battling with Morris Gas's Celica.
Morris Gas is also dropping back and dropping into a deep hole. Just as well, the suspension on these Toyotas is built to take the rough with the smooth.
Morris and Jeffrey Orr had found the rear suspension too hard in the Celica and softened it at the first service. They set second fastest time on the Nigel McGee Autobody Stage 5 and are hovering on the fringe of the top 10.
slight right, slight left.
Now sit back and enjoy the view as Mr. Sideways Allen takes us on a rapid ride through Parkmore.
And square left on the tire at the first. That's good, 170. All the way up to this 4 left. You didn't get it right the last time. Through posts, 60. Turn 5 left. And it cuts for you over Brick Crest and jump. 100. Big jump.
But even the urgings of Eugene Donnelly can't quite get them into the top 10 on this occasion, as the rear-wheel drive Escort loses ground out of the corners.
Flat crest.
But the straights
200.
are a different matter altogether.
Keep going now. 3 right, 200. That's it.
Glen Allen on the Dixon Contracts Littlebeck stage. Now let's enjoy a full run through that test from inside the BA Kitchens Components Escort.
200. All the way down. Caution, bump and open 5 right. Open 5 right, 40. Stay in the middle over jumps, 170. Over small crest. And the caution jump and dip into 5 right. 40. 3 right over crest. 1 left, go on. 1 left, 200. Past the junction into long, 2 left. Bad bump afterwards. After it, 300. Go on. Double caution, jump into narrow, open 5 right. Go on, all the way down there. 130. 2 right over bump, 60. 1 right over small crest, 60. 2 right, 200. Go on. Double caution, on-seam jumps. And the 5 right tightens. Here. 5 right tightens over bridge. Crest, bump. Narrow and open, 5 left over crest, 100. Double caution, 5 left, 5 right over bad bump. 3 gates, that's you. 30, I'd say 30, we've done it.
Allen is battling for position with the Escort Cosworth of Cork visitors John McCarthy and Dan Maguire. The Group N battle is raging, and although Mason has a slight edge here, leading by 3 seconds, Johnson is still on the case, swapping times with the former champion. Crozier isn't out of it either. It's just a handful of seconds further back. And astonishingly, John and Mandy McKeown are still going. They've even got a new door to keep the draft out. The service crew located one in a scrapyard and fitted it at Glenarth. Is another driver having an off day. This overshoot is symptomatic of a disappointing end to the championship for the Belfast garage owner. He keeps going, but he's down the lower reaches of the top 20. No problems here for John Donnelly and his Escort Cosworth. His car will be off the road on the Slevenora stage. Alistair Corcoran is another driver caught out by the same slippery corner as Gary White. And so is Andy McGee. But Roy Hazlitt just manages to get his escort slowed in time. Sam Wilson and his furry friend get it just right in the Renault.
Jerry Brown has obviously been enjoying his Murphys as he climbs further up the top 20 in the Spud Motorsport Escort Cosworth. With driving like this, Alistair Cochrane and Ian Kidd should be climbing well up the top 20, but a 50-second road penalty has lost them a lot of time. The cracks are beginning to show on the straight concrete Escort Cosworth of Conor McFall. Getty puts some life back into his Mark II Escort as he tackles the Dixon Contracts Beck stage. As Frank Kelly slides his air-conditioned Fiesta through the KPP Doors stage, Roy Hazlitt in the Auto Spares of Cumber Escort employs a more conventional method of getting air into the cockpit. George Perry's Lancer is in good time. And Dungannon Stephen Moore is on the right time to collect the Junior Championship. Macaulay's gearbox is showing signs of wear and tear. But it's his front bumper that's worse off after hitting that gate post in Parkmore. Fintan McGrady is right on the edge here as he battles with Gary White. Sammy Wilson's Lucky Duck is also battling with the weather on the front of the Charleshurst Clio. Although Andy Hawthorne's battle with Frank Kelly appears to be over, he's still trying. And Alan Thompson is cracking along nicely in the Toshiba Evo 3. Mark Woodside is now feeling very confident in his hard DGM Motorsport Lancer. This is Ian Peake's last stage, however, before his retirement. But Paul Crossan is extending his Class 4 lead as Keith MacIver demonstrates the technique of left foot braking. George Hamilton demonstrates the tail-out oversteer. As Mervyn Williamson in the Turtles Escort is egged on by these spectators, Gordon Simpson's run is not to go on much longer. Sean McGurr, though, is still in a neck-and-neck battle with McCoyd's Mark II Escort. And Andy Mulholland is recovering from his misadventure and has the consolation of being runner-up in the 2000 Sunbeam Avenger Challenge. Charlie Hamilton in his Mark II Escort and Lexi Halliday's Saxo splash through the terrible conditions. Conditions that the Class 1 leader Andrew Bush is revelling in. Derek Crossan is one of the 3 Crossans in the event. His sons Paul and David are also driving. Brian Crawford heads for service.
Back at service, Biggerstaff is 2 seconds in front in the championship duel with just 3 stages left.
I think me and Robin's very close. He's really going for it, so we have to respond if we can and It's all or nothing for him, so we have to be in front of him.
Phillips' Toyota is thoroughly checked one more time.
It's Denis and myself as usual, you know. I'm glad today to be running behind him because, you know, you can keep an eye on his times better, and it's sort of, we've been trading seconds every stage, so we're in service here after 7 stages and we're equal at the moment, so it's can't get much closer than that.
Well, not quite, 2 seconds behind actually. Here's one man who knows how important seconds are, 1997 champion Sean Haveron, who's really looking forward to the final showdown. Up at the front, Woodside continues to dominate, although he's secretly nursing a gearbox problem in the Subaru. O'Kane is still fighting to keep McGarrity at bay, although he drops 4 seconds here on stage 8. McGarrity is giving it everything. Heading O'Kane back slowly but surely, but those 20 seconds are proving to be important. Biggerstaff is quick out of the box again after service and increases his lead to 5 seconds over the short 8th stage. It's starting to look good for the champion. But Phillips isn't about to give up. And the 2 remaining stages ahead are probably better suited to the longer, wider Toyota. Championship runner-up 2 years in a row, Phillips is determined not to make it. 3rd time unlucky.
Gary Jennings lights up the Brett Martin Ballybowly dusk on his way to 2nd in Class 1 on only his 3rd rally. Also on his way to 2nd in class is Sean McGurr. But this is on a countback as he actually ties on time with class winner McQuoid. Ali Burrow's unusual Orion is on his way to 50th overall and 5th in his class. While despite his 15-year layoff, Willie Hunter brings his Sierra home in 29th place. Mark Latham's Cosworth finishes 2 places ahead, despite this persistent misfire. And George Peary's Lancer cracks his way to 6th in Group N and 24th overall. Here's the new junior champion, Stephen Moore, with Pamela Bates co-driving. Getty's Escort takes 34th overall. And that's just 2 places behind Sammy Wilson's Clio, which takes 4th in Class 5. Frank Kelly has had a somewhat deflating day, culminating in a front wheel puncture on the final stage. Great rival Andy Hawthorne will take 2nd place in the Class 6 Championship with a 4th in class here. Despite that 50-second road penalty, Alistair Cochrane finishes 3rd in Class 6 and 22nd overall. Just 1 second behind Roy Haslett's Subaru Escort, who takes 2nd in the class. Paul McCauley's eventful day sees him finish in 36th place, whilst Conor McFall finishes 25th overall and leads us into the class winners.
Andrew Bush and Malcolm Thompson take Class 1 in their little Vauxhall Nova, although the Class Championship at the end of the season goes to Marshall Kennedy and David McElroy. Declan McNaughton and Mark Rowan take Class 3 in their Sunbeam, but Conor Kelly and Kevin McAleer end the year as champions. Paul Crossan and Peter Martin win Class 4 in their Peugeot, but it's Jonathan Morrow and Jeffrey Patterson who take the championship. McQuoid and Carson are the Class 5 winners in their Escort, but Rodney White and Pamela Bates are the Class champions.
Sitting around, thinking about
And the top junior driver of the season is Stephen Moore from Dungannon. English visitor Alan Thompson has been building on his rally experience all season with an eye on the RAC Rally and a charity drive for children in need. No ladies champion this year, but perhaps next when Suzanne Woodside will join the fray in this Ford Puma. It's her prize for winning a ladies rally search competition. And yes, she is a member of the same extended Woodside family as rally leader Robert. So too is Mark Woodside, who starts our countdown to the finish. He brought his Mitsubishi home 20th and 5th in Group N. John McKeown's dramas weren't entirely over, but he kept going right to the end, surviving spins like this after the finish line of a stage, and some crashes to bring his battered Sierra home in 19th place. Fintan McGrady went one better and took 18th in his Escort Cosworth. Gary White had to settle for 17th after his troubled day. Jim Crozier fell away from the Group N battle and eventually finished in 16th, 4th in Group N. Glenn Allen put in another class-winning performance, his 8th of the season, but could still finish no higher than 15th, despite the enthusiasm of his co-driver Eugene Donnelly.
Now let's see this KBB Doors Glenariff stage from inside the Glen Allen Escort as the ever-enthusiastic Eugene Donnelly shouts out the notes.
And 3 right 60. All the way up, jump into 4 right cuts. 60. Open square right. 350. Repeat 350. All the way up. Caution crest and jump 60. Chicane, go on, chicane. Watch the hole on my side. Right, flat crest and jump 100. Caution crest and jump 2 left and cared 3 right slippy. Repeat long 3 right slippy. 60 downhill. On ahead. 60 downhill. Caution brake early 5 left. Big crest and jump 100. Big jump 60. Big jump and slippy 2 right, 200. 4 left, real good 4 left, cut 60. 1 right, 150. Crest and jump 40, 3 right. It's not that bad. 3 right, 60. Brake and the bump and the 5 right. And 4 left over finish. 80. 56, I think.
McCarthy made his long trip from Cork worthwhile with 14th place. While a great drive took Jerry Brown's Escort Cosworth into 13th. Eamon Boland enjoyed his first experience of the Ulster Forest, but drifted off the pace in the latter stages and ended up back in 12th. Morris Gas was another to fall away towards the end. He dropped back to 11th. The final two places in the top 10 featured the Group N Championship contenders. Johnson sprinted through the final stage at Ballybowly, beating Mason by 1 second. But that meant the Fermanagh driver tied with Mason on total times at the end of the 10 stages. But on the countback system, Mason got 9th place, the greater share of the Group N points and the Group N Championship. Keith White and David Linus put in another sterling performance to finish 8th and 1st in the two-wheel drive class.
And 2 left.
While Richard Hogg and Mark Hanna recorded a debut win in Group N in their Mitsubishi.
2 left, 60.
But for their turbo
40.
trouble, they could well have finished higher than 7th.
Richard Hogg is becoming more and more at home with his new Evo 6, as we can see when we join him on board through the Brett Martin Capinas stage.
3, 2, 1, go. 100, 2 right, 60, 2 left, over jump and tree, 200. Keep running, that's it. Long 2 right, up the middle 300. Up the middle 300, Richard. 1 right over bump 170. Bump and dip 40. Followed by open 5 left 130. Bump and dip 40. Followed by open 5 left 130. That's you. Tight 5 left in 100. 1 right 100. Stay left over crest and bump 100 downhill. Followed by 3 left jump. Stay left over crest and bump, keep going, 100 downhill, 3 left in over bump, 300. That's you, keep her going. Okay, jump and dip, 130. Stay left over crest and jump. 80 downhill, 2 left over bad jump and dip, 170. 5 left top of hill, 80. 170, 5 left top of hill, 80. Followed by 3 right. 3 right, 100. Double caution crest and bump. 40 downhill, 3 right, 80. Square left. Square left down here, Richard. 80. Followed by 1 right. 100. 1 left. 300 over bumps. And finish on open 5 right in. 300 over bumps, keep it going. Very end of this, Richard, you have open 5 right in 200. That's you. Well driven.
Richard Hall and Declan Campbell put in a strong performance late in the day and took 6th place. Biggerstaff started the final stage with a 5-second lead, surely enough to see him and Carlisle home to their 2nd title. But he buckled on Ballybowly. The Metro struggled for grip on the slippery track. Pat down the stage, Phillips was in no mood to finish runner-up for the third year in a row. Robin takes up the story.
We were 5 seconds down getting into the last stage, and we knew we had to have a tall order. And I think we've just nipped it by 2 seconds or else 3 seconds.
It's a wonderful way to end the championship, right down to the very last stage and 3 seconds. There's really no losers.
We had a great battle all year. For a while today it looked as if it was his, then it was mine, and then it finally ended up it was his. But it was a good battle all day, and it was down to 3 seconds for the championship at the end of the race.
Up at the front, McGarrity couldn't quite overcome his 20-second penalty, had to settle for third. O'Kane refused to succumb to the pressure from behind and held off McGarrity for his second place in a row. But Robert Woodside Jr. was a clear winner despite the Subaru losing 5th and 6th gears at the halfway point.
Sure, you're a happy man tonight.
Very much so, yeah. The victory's quite sunk in yet. Very, very happy.
And it seemed quite easy victory after all.
We took no chances. We were trying hard from the start. I was a bit unsure how the car was going to be in the first couple of stages, but the first corner decided the rally, and the car was super and just filled you full of confidence.
Is this your first one on this level?
Yeah, this is my first rally win ever. Other events of different natures, but it's the first time we've led a rally and the first time we've won a rally, so we're happy.
That's Robert Woodside at the top of the rally leaderboard. But it was the do-or-die effort on the final stage which paid off for Robin Phillips. Finished the championship just 1 point over Denis Biggerstaff.